They want me to change, but I ain't changing. Nah, I remain the same.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nerd DJs Radio Network. Today we have a phenomenal episode, a special time, 5 o'clock. We have Eloise Asylum's owner, John G. Hambrick, in the building. How you doing, bruh?
All right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. How's life? How's your family?
Life is good. Family's well, just school, everyday life, man, just trying to get through school. And obviously we're in spooky season, so life's busy right now.
Why the Eloise Asylum? Matter of fact, let's take it back a little bit. Give me a history of Eloise.
So Eloise was purchased by Wayne County in 1839, but from Nankin Township. They purchased 900 acres from Nankin Township to establish a poorhouse. The poorhouse was for people that were indigent in the city of Detroit, to be able to come out here and live in the wilderness at the time, right? Because it was 16 miles from the center of Detroit in 1839. Like transportation was, stagecoach.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a journey to get out here. It developed into a asylum for the mentally challenged. Eventually had a full-fledged hospital on site, had an infirmary. At the height of its progression, it had 78 buildings on 900 acres, right? So it was one of the largest, if not the largest, asylum in North America. It housed over 10,000 patients at one time. So it had its own zip code, its own fire department, its own police department, its own train stop from Chicago to Detroit. You stopped at Eloise. They grew their own tobacco. It was fully self-sufficient. They had farms. They had a piggery. They had a dairy farm. They had a cannery. They also grew their own tobacco. I've seen a package of tobacco that said Eloise on it at one time.
Really?
An historical museum has it. It was an innovative property. The first X-ray that was ever shot was shot right here at Eloise. First dialysis machine that was ever used was used here at the Eloise property. So there was a lot of progress here. So it was a large medical complex that did a lot of different things.
I'm guessing that the people that lived there were committed, correct?
Yes. The people that were in the asylum were committed.
Okay, so they didn't really have much say so as to what they got. I guess that's why they had some of the technological advances, because the population couldn't really complain about it.
Absolutely.
What were you thinking? Like I'm like At what point do you look at this massive everything and say, I want to purchase this?
Um, you know, so when I was approached by the county, I'd done a lot of business with the county, and we I'm an affordable housing developer. I've been in affordable housing for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was approached by the county. They had some distressed properties that they were looking to get rid of. I mean, to be frank, this property sat on the market. I think it was listed for almost 3 years for $1.5 million. It started off at 3 million and then dropped down to 1.5, and they didn't have one offer. And it was costing the county approximately $556,000 a year to maintain the property.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right after the Detroit bankruptcy. Wayne County was in a position where they needed to tighten their belt a little bit, so they had to get rid of some assets. So I was approached by a gentleman in Mr. Evans' office and asked me, if I was interested in a property that they owned. And I'm always interested in a property. I'm a developer. I said, yeah, sure, why not? I said, well, let me get you in, go check it out, and tell me what you think. So my business partner at the time and I drove out here, and we came in and we looked around, and it was funny. The day we got here, the fire alarm was going off. I mean, it was so loud in the main building. It was, lights flashing, blinking everywhere, just super loud. And, there was stuff just everywhere, because it just basically looked like the county they said, okay, you guys are done. And they just walked out the door. There were coffee cups sitting on the desk, files sitting on. It was just kind of really eerie. And the top 3 floors of the building are the original asylum that it's been since 1931. Because when the last patient left in the early 80s, they basically mothballed the top 3 floors and didn't use them. So it was just kind of like walking into a very loud and creepy building, And as we looked around the site, there's a lot of environmental issues on the site, right? And which I'm, apt at noticing. And I just kind of put my head around it, and I went, man, I don't think this is a feasible project. So when we left, I actually looked at my business partner. I said, hey, what did you think? And he said, yeah, man, I'm good. I said, yeah, me too. Right. Mm-hmm. And he said, so we laughed. And then like 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from the gentleman, and he said, hey man, what'd you think of that property you went and looked at? And I said, yeah, it's a great property. And I didn't want to insult him, and it is. Property, right? But I said, I'm just really not interested. And he said, well, come on, man, make me an offer. And I said, I really don't have time right now. And I just, I think it's too much, for me to chew at this point, but, good luck. And he said, come on, make me an offer. And I said, I don't know. I said, I'll give you $1 for it. He says, will you take possession of it right away? And I said, yeah, I'll take possession. If you give it to me for $1, I'll take possession. What the heck, And he said, okay, submit your proposal. So we submitted our proposal. There was an open RFP on it, to the public to request for ownership of Eloise. And there were 2 proposals. We were one, and a nonprofit was another, but they didn't want to take possession right away. We were the only ones that said we would take possession right away. So we won. And we got the property. And I was originally going to do affordable senior on it. Mm-hmm. And because MISTA has a scoring app that how you get funding for that kind of project is you go through MISTA, and MISTA will score it out. It's competitive. And if you score high, then you're apt to get, you're not guaranteed to get the financing, but you got a better chance. And we did. We scored very well on the original application when we first got the property. But then by the time they do it every 6 months, by the time the next round came out, because we weren't ready for the first round to submit, because you got to do a lot of due diligence to get there, they changed the scoring app and we didn't score anymore.
Oh.
So now we have a property, right, that we have no funding on.
That's costing you $500,000 to upkeep a year.
Absolutely, right? Because as soon as I got it, they put me right on the tax roll. Because it was never on the tax roll.
So you didn't consider like saying, hey, you know what, give us a tax break too.
It's I did consider that, but it's a market rate project. So can you go ask for it? Yeah, but you got to have a pretty valid reason why you need it. You know what I mean? And I didn't, and the taxes weren't that, crazy to where, we couldn't afford it,
Okay.
at the time. But I had a friend that was really big in the paranormal, and he was bugging me. Hey man, let me come in there and ghost hunt for the night. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I was getting broken into almost every night of the week, because there was 232 windows on the basement and the first floor that I had to try to keep people out of. And I since bricked them all. We went through almost 200 cubes of bricking all the windows up on the basement and first floor. But I thought, what the heck? It's free security for the night. Why not? So I'll keep people up. So I let in, and the guy that kind of was in charge of the group said, you should do tours on this place. And I'm like, why? Do you think it'd be popular? And he's like, oh my God, this is the holy grail of paranormal. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't really into paranormal. It wasn't my thing. And so we put together these tours, we posted them, and we sold out in 15 minutes from the last weekend in September to the first weekend in November, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we'd add Thursday and it would sell out. We'd add Wednesday and it would sell out. And it was basically just bring your flashlight and walk around the building. I mean, really, that's all it was. And
and how much were you charging for this?
$40. So,
Kidding me.
we did very well. I think we grossed like $325,000 that first year in 1 month. So I'm kind of like, I ought to rethink this thing, And then I started digging into the history of this place, right? And I found out, how much people love this place. People absolutely love this place. Either they've had a cousin that was here, uncle that worked here, a mom that was a patient, or a grandpa that, got TB, because back in the outbreak of tuberculosis, this was an infirmary, and a lot of people lost their lives here due to TB, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had some kind of connection to the place.
That's interesting, because that's what drew me to the interview. Actually, rest her soul, my grandmother was a patient there.
Okay.
And at one point, my mother actually worked there.
Oh, wow. What
Yeah,
is she?
so she was a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, when I heard about it, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to talk to him about this. I'm familiar,
Sure.
Yeah.
So you have
I'm
a
sorry, I
connection
didn't mean to cut you off
to
too.
understand it, right? You have that
Yeah,
connection,
yeah,
that,
I get it.
and people want to be here just because of that, right?
Hmm.
So I started rethinking it. Me and my partner were like, well, what would be, because obviously with a property like this, you got to generate revenue. It's just costs money to have it.
Yeah.
It's what could we do to generate revenue and keep people coming. And we obviously we were doing the haunted attraction, which was ranked #1 in the state, top 5 in the country last year, and we're in our 3rd year of operations. We are still running paranormal tours because the building is haunted. I was a skeptic until I got the place, and
Okay, so what have you seen personally to give you that opinion?
So I was in the basement one time. There was a few things. One time I had an investor here when I first got the property, and we went up to the fifth floor or to the roof, and I wanted to just kind of show him the overview of the whole place because we get really good about the roof. And then we were coming downstairs and we were on 5 and we were walking down the hallway, and I wanted to show him there's a hydrotherapy tub that's actually left in the building where they used to do hydrotherapy. So I'm like, yeah, let me show you this, Derek. And as we were walking down the hallway, either a door slammed or a file cabinet fell over or something. It was such a loud boom that we both launched back and almost came out of our shoes, right? Because it was dead silence. Then all of a sudden it was just boom. And we both looked at each other and went, I'm good. He said, I'm good. Hustled our way out of the building, you know? So whatever was there, they didn't want us going down that any further. So we got the message, right? And then another time I was meeting some plumbers here, and I thought they were in the boiler room in the basement, and they weren't. They were actually on the other side of the basement. So I started walking down the basement hallway, and I heard really loud and clear in my ear, one of the dark rooms, like trying to get my attention, and I felt like a presence, and I was like, I just put my head down and kept looking straight, like I ain't looking. You know what I mean? I'm not looking. You know. So and then another time they were doing paranormal tours, and they do what they do. They call these flashlight sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll set up flashlights and they'll ask for them to shut them off and on command. And I've seen them go off and on, right? So I was just kind of like, what is going on? I'm like, this has got to be fake, right? And this has got to be fake. So I was in the basement one time, and there was a flashlight sitting, up there that they were using, and I just grabbed it in my hand and I said, hey, could you do me a favor? If you're real, just turn the flashlight on. Flashlight pops on, right? I said, could you please shut it off? Flashlight shuts off, turns back on, flickers, and then shuts off again.
Yeah, I would have never stepped back in that building again.
Yeah, so daughter's had her hair pulled.
You must be. He must be about to say you must be in the parking lot or something. No, somebody must have just called.
I am in the parking lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
The phone did go black, and then the audio started messing up a little bit.
Yeah. I just turned my car on.
Oh, yeah, because your audio just went horrible.
Oh, is it bad? Hold on.
Yeah, it's almost like you tapped into a walkie-talkie. That's crazy.
Is that
I think
better?
that's better. Yeah, that's much better.
Okay.
Okay, so I know it's a multi-million-dollar renovation. How much of the property did you actually get?
All of it.
So how many acres?
17 acres. Yep. With 5 buildings.
So are you using all 5 buildings?
Currently, we are using the K Beard building, and that's where the haunted attraction is. It's on the basement and the first floor. And we run paranormal on 3, 4, and 5. We also run historic out of there. We have historic tours. And then we also have 2 state-of-the-art escape rooms in the front on the first floor that are open year-round. The back building is the Samaritas Family Center. So that actually houses 28 homeless families back there. It's been in operation since the mid-90s. I mean, when I got the property, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and I asked God, I'm like, God, why do you got me here? I don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of, I don't know if this is in your will or not. And I turned around and I looked at the family center and I audibly heard him say, make sure they're okay. Take care of them. Right. So we pay their taxes. We do stuff for the kids on Christmas and Easter. I just was able to obtain a grant to get them a whole new roof. So they got a brand new roof. Um, they've done some HVAC improvements since we've been here. So they've really upgraded that, which I'm grateful for. Um, and then there is the powerhouse. The powerhouse is what used to basically, powered the whole site when it was 78
Mm.
built, 900 acres. It powered gave them all the electricity and all the steam on the property. That's getting ready to come down. We're going to demo that because it's in really rough shape. It's basically falling down. So um, hopefully by spring that'll be gone. And then there's the old firehouse. The firehouse was built in 1897. It's the oldest building in Westland. Um, I re-raftered that, saved the roof, rebuilt the east wall on it, and I'm going to turn that into the Eloise Firehouse Barbecue. So I'd like to do a barbecue. I'm working on getting my liquor license right now.
Okay.
Should have that in the next couple months. So that's kind of futurely, I'd like to have that as a spot where you can come, eat, have a few drinks, hang out. I could tie different activities in with the main building to that building and put food in. So it's kind of what I'm thinking, but that's what's left on the property.
Do you have a concert venue there?
We did have our first concert just 3 weeks ago. We had the Motor City Roots Festival. Jeezy was the headliner, Babyface Ray and Antonio Brown. And it was our first concert. We did, it went off great. No issues. Everybody had a good time. From what I can see from reviews, everybody enjoyed the site. Site handled it well. So it's kind of the direction we're going in now. Like, hey, why not in the summer do 3 or 4 shows, right?
Okay.
To be able to keep the site active,
It's a nice spot. I mean, especially like where it's located. It's close enough to the city, but far enough away from the city. Like, nobody's really going to come out there acting a fool.
Right.
Everybody can have a good time, especially when you put the restaurant in there. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's. Any other plans?
I'd like to do some stuff in the main building. I'd like to do a 1920s themed speakeasy on one of the floors to where you kind of walk up. It's a secret bar and you come up to the side door. Because when you walk into the K Beer building, it really is like walking in to the 30s. It's a historic building and you can feel it. So I'd love to just deck out a whole area where you walk into this old creepy asylum, but then you also walk into this lavish speakeasy that's decked out in the 20s, have swing bands, barbershop quartets, do a historic menu. Just leave it like that. You know what I mean?
So this has turned into absolute no into probably the biggest gem of your career.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I don't think I would have bought that for $1.
No?
No, no. Especially the whole like I'm the paranormal shit. Just but no, excuse my language, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm cool on that right there.
Get it, man.
But so you got it for $1. You've been in operation for 3 years. You say.
Yes.
So profit wise, you're doing fantastic. Then I don't mean to get into your too much in your business.
Yeah. I mean, we're paying the bills, right? I mean, build what we build took a lot of money. You know what I mean? It wasn't cheap.
How much have you put into it so far?
The level of haunt we've built
Uh
is
huh.
Universal Studios Disney quality.
Really?
And oh yeah, it's from our sets to our costumes to our makeup to our tech. We're cutting edge in every area, literally. And
How do you find the people to do that particular build?
so we actually got very lucky. We were introduced to a guy named Dave Carey, who we made a partner, and um, he started to build. He's built haunts all over the world, and you know, just we just got. Honestly, I just got lucky, man. I don't. If I tell you I did this research and all that, no, I didn't. I met a guy from Pennsylvania who's run haunts. He knew this guy. This guy knew this guy. You know what I mean? It's like a really close knit community, and before you knew it, we had a whole crew and we were building. Kind
So
of how
how much have you guys put into it so far?
we're about 7 million in right now.
Wow, that's a shitload of money.
It's a ton of money, but we wanted to be good. You know, we knew the reputation of the building, that we couldn't just have masks and a flashlight and you just light shit up. You know what I mean? So
So, so who actually rates haunted houses?
there's a few organizations. There's Haunt Finders, one of them. Um, Haunt World is another one. It's like a whole business. It's a whole industry. You
Really?
have this show every year called Trans World, and at Trans World, it's like it's the Halloween trade show, and it is like where all the best prop makers go and mask makers and makeup artists, and I mean it's something to see because these guys are truly artists. They really are. Um, I mean, they're so creative. So,
They also got to be a little odd too, I would imagine.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you
But
got
we're all
coffin.
on the way, right?
Okay, well, there's odd, and then there's coffins in my backyard. Odd. I don't have any coffins just laying around the house.
I don't.
Just saying.
Just,
So, how often do you plan on renovating the haunted house aspect? Like how much do you have to put into it to remain top five or even become number one?
so I mean, you got to stay fresh, right? It's like anything, you know. Um, I heard when you introduced your show that one of your sponsors is a clothing line. They have to come out with new stuff all the time, or they'll
Yeah,
just be that was cool, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So you gotta every year you gotta have some kind of something new to see. You know, it's always a investment. You know what I mean?
You have kids?
I have four.
What do they think?
They love it. They think it's well. I mean, they think it's cool, right? Because they see
Uh,
dad on TV and they know that um, we've been on 5 TV shows now. We actually have our own TV show that airs October 16th on Fox Nation. It's called Secrets of the Asylum. Um, it's going to be 6 episodes. It's about the history and the paranormal. It should be pretty cool. But we've been on Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne,
uh,
um, Ghost Brothers, Destination Fear, and Expedition X. They just wrapped, Josh Gates just wrapped that. We were his first 2 episodes for the year this season. So, they think it's cool. My oldest daughter, she's 18. She's our best paranormal investigator, or one of our best. I don't want to say our best because we have some phenomenal people that work here. But she just loves it. She's in our ticket booth. She's immersed. So My 11-year-old will not go in. My 3-year-olds,
I'm
uh,
with them.
uh,
Although I will say that my daughters don't really pay attention to my podcast all that much. But my one daughter was like, "Are you getting tickets? Like when you're getting tickets?" She's very interested in the haunted house, and I'm like, and matter of fact, for those people that are interested in going, health wise, what conditions preclude you from going in?
I mean, if you have a heart condition, I would recommend coming in, right? Uh, seizures, if you're prone to seizures, it's not recommended that you come because there's a lot of strobes, a lot of noise. We're 100% ADA compatible. So if you have mobility issues, we can accommodate you. Um, I would, just heart seizures, um, panic attacks, that's a thing, right? Um, but the great thing about our haunt is we can literally get you out in 8 minutes. You know what I mean? Anywhere. If you say, I'm done, get me out of here, we have like secret passageways throughout the whole thing. And all of our actors are trained to spot that, and we'll pull you right out and get you out and, into, into safety. Right. So,
So when there's people tapping out in the middle of the haunted house.
oh, absolutely. All the time. So we have 2 floors, right? We have the first floor and we have the basement. Okay. A lot of times people will make it through the first floor because the ticket comes as 2 attractions. The first floor is the asylum, right? So that's done as an old insane asylum. The basement is the Nankin Project. And what that is back in the day, they were taking patients from the asylum and taking them downstairs and creating an alternate being. This alternate being has since infested the workers and has basically taken over their bodies and has now escaped downstairs. So it's more futuristic. It's more kind of sci-fi, right?
It's the
And
zombie apocalypse type of stuff.
kind of, sort of, right?
Yeah.
And they they instead of uh, going through the second haunt, they'll just get through the first one and be like, "I'm good. I don't need to go to the bottom." You
That
know?
sounds like my scary ass. I've never been good with scary movies or like the scary things. Just I come home and have nightmares for a week.
Mhm.
Just not me. Uh, does it scare you?
You know, I mean, I get scared when I go through. Absolutely, um, because it's designed to do that, but it doesn't terrify me because I know that I know it's just all theatrical, right? And that not even so much the haunting of the building scares me anymore. Is I have a mutual respect for whatever's here. I don't taunt. I don't. You know, I'm not prideful. I mean, I'm just basically I've asked permission. Like, look, I gotta. If you don't want this building gone and you want it to stay, I need to do these things to keep this thing open. You know, I hope you don't mind. I mean, the way I look at it is these people were disrespected in life. I'll be
Yeah,
damned to do it in death. You know,
that's
I'll
an
do,
interesting way to look at it.
you know,
Because most people would just provide the capital and keep it moving. And
yeah.
it sounds like you've taken a more of a caretaker approach.
It's kind of how I look at it. Yeah,
Okay.
God's the responsibility, right?
I can respect that completely. Do you look to do more of these type of projects, or is this it?
No, this is it, man. The apartments where I just got to collect the rent once a month and fix the sink every once in a while. You know,
How is that? Is like, do you prefer being a landlord?
yeah, I really love the art of the deal. You know what I mean? That's something that's always fascinated me. I love real estate. I love finance. Um, and I love, taking an idea, because essentially any real estate project that you do, right, starts
Hmm.
off as an idea. Taking an idea and actually building it and people live there, to me, is really cool, you know, because you don't
Generally
know.
speaking, though, somebody gets shitted in the deal, and it's usually not necessarily people that lived in that apartment building, but grandma that lived next door or somebody lived across the street. How do you deal with that?
And I guess you just deal with it on an individual basis, right? It's I don't think there's any standard. It's just, what's the situation? How do you address it better? Make
Hmm.
sure you meet everybody's needs, and, try to de-escalate the situation, because, calmer heads always prevail, right? And if you can keep it, because it's somebody's life, right?
Yeah,
Especially, where they live, it's their address. It's important, you
yeah,
know. I always look at it like that, right? It's
yeah,
not rent payment, it's their address, you
yeah.
know.
I've been through that before. We stayed off of Jefferson for I don't know maybe 2 years, and the place that we stayed in, me and my mom's, they were the city was basically actively buying up everything because they wanted to tear it all down and build little baby mansions. And the way they went about it was, although they did pay people fairly, but not everybody is about a dollar. And those
Yeah,
people that weren't about the dollar, they're pretty cold about it.
it was a
You know,
business.
exactly. And for like, it's one thing when Joe Blow, who's a financier, does it. It's another thing when somebody you elected does it. They're supposed to have your best interests at heart. It's a tough pill to swallow. You know,
Sure.
but like I say, like we got treated fairly. I will say that. Like she got paid fairly, and we didn't even own the house. So but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that I've seen both sides. Have you ever been on the other end of it?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, when my parents moved from Detroit to Mount Clemens back in the day,
Hmm.
we lived in the Joy Road projects in the townhouses, uh, and it was not the nicest place, right? Uh, and Clinton Township didn't care about you, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, I came from meager means, I guess. None was really ever handed to me. You know,
I feel you on that.
I had to grind for everything.
And Joy Road has not changed much, no matter where you at on Joy Road.
Yeah,
At least in Detroit,
yeah.
that McDonald's on Joy Road in Southfield, I still won't go to. If people let people know where they purchase tickets, where it's
Um,
located.
yeah, www.eloiseasylum.com is where you get your tickets. Located at Michigan and Merriman Road, between Merriman and Henry Ruff on the west side. Parking is on site. We recommend you park with us, because Kroger already sent us a letter that if people park in Kroger this year, they're getting towed. So let me get that out there. They're not playing no more. And the funny thing, you want to hear a funny story about that? So for 2 years, the guy owns a strip mall, right, in Kroger over there. He
Hmm.
was charging us rent, right? We were paying him because people were parking over there. So we were paying him.
Oh, I think he got a phone call.
Yeah, shut it up. Come to find out, he doesn't even own the line. Kroger's does. Isn't that crazy? Um,
Isn't that a lawsuit?
yeah, I guess so, but who are you gonna chase?
That
Co-
guy is fraud.
yeah, but
It's
it
actually
costs
a crime.
a lot of money to file a lawsuit. I learned all that too, right?
Actually,
21.
what you do is you had a state prosecute his ass, and then while he's going through that, you sue him.
Yeah, but no, it's It's the only haunted attraction in an old asylum that's truly haunted in the state. So we're not your local strip mall haunted attraction. We're the best, and I'm not ashamed to say
Well, that's why you're on intellectually petty radio. I
that.
don't really do. I don't. You know, if you're second, you're last. Like to
Yeah,
quote
right.
Ricky Bobby. I definitely want to thank you for stopping by, man. It's just
Yeah,
been enlightening to say the least. And I want to thank Mikey again for hooking this up. Mikey's just a phenomenal individual.
he is.
And Mikey, I tell you, the guy knows everybody everywhere.
Absolutely.
If you ever, well, we probably talk behind the scenes, but if you need anything, let me know. Whatever I can do to help you out, man, I'm always here for you. And I'm definitely gonna send my kids up there to check it out. I myself will stay my ass at home. On that note, man, anything you want to say before we tap out?
Nah, man, I appreciate you having me, and good luck, man. And come see us. It's worth
Yeah.
it.
Let me know when you have another concert. I'll be
I
there.
will. Yeah, for
I'll,
sure.
I'll be to that one.
Okay. It'll
On
be
that note,
outside, so it won't be inside.
that perfect for me. On that note, man, you have a great one. Salute to y'all for tapping in.
All right, man.
All right, peace.
Yeah.
Yo, and don't forget, man, go check out Eloise Asylum in Westland, Michigan. Top 5 in the country, absolutely number 1 in the state. Haunted houses. And I didn't get off into the panic room, the escape room much. I forgot about that until just now. Anyway, I might actually go tap in for that one, but I don't. Anyway, man, y'all go check them out. I'm gonna take my scary ass back upstairs. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.